Hey guys, welcome to Fight Talk Live. Hey guys, welcome to Fight Talk Live right here on MotiveRadio.com. Welcome to the show. We're starting a little bit later, but we do things our way, when we want, anytime we want. So let me welcome you guys to the show. Again, my name is Adam. We do this every Thursday at 4-ish p.m. But yeah, we may be changing the time, ladies and gentlemen, so we hope to keep you guys on board with this. But yeah, so welcome to the show. Let's jump right into it. Let me go ahead and welcome our first guest, USA Women's Olympic wrestler, bronze medalist. What year, Randy?
2008.
2008. How's that? What's that like to be able to tell people that you're an Olympian?
It never gets old.
Yeah? Like, do you ever find yourself at a bar and throwing that out and get some free drinks or?
It depends on how many drinks I already had.
Right. So I've never been able to brag about this. What's the big accomplishment in my life? I don't know that I have one. That's a freaking big ass accomplishment.
Oh, thank you.
Do you ever puff out your chest a little bit more with a few drinks in you?
No,
I'm an Olympian, goddamn.
No, it doesn't come those days. It's like whenever I feel like I'm defending myself.
Yeah.
Or, then it's like, listen, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm an Olympian, but that's probably the only time.
The great thing about, wrestling, MMA, particularly jiu-jitsu, is that a sport like jiu-jitsu allows regular dudes who don't look like much to be killers. Half the guys I know, you would never think that they could kill you, and they could. They put you in a coma if they wanted to. I don't see any cauliflower. You have any cauliflower?
Yeah, you don't see that?
Oh, there you go. Okay.
It's in both ears.
So you got a little bit of cauliflower. So much like the red hourglass on a black widow or a rat on a snake, that's God's way of showing people don't fuck with me, right? So has there ever been a time where someone, they don't know you, they ever try starting shit with you? And
of course, I think we've all had that.
Please give me one example of that, because I love the stories.
Well, I'm just very cognizant of knowing that people don't know that I'm like this wrestler that could kill you. In your words. No,
you could throw somebody on their head, man.
So I just try to keep that in mind. I'm like, this person doesn't know, so I'm not gonna push push it. The only time I really ever, I would say, attacked someone was in self-defense, is because they left me no choice.
Yeah. Can you share any details of that, or nothing too traumatic, I hope?
No.
I'm sure you killed that person.
No, I just kind of made sure I got out of the situation safely, but I can't really think of the details. I might have been a little bit drunk.
Well, we're going to come back to that. I want to talk to you about that, because I met you at Jeremy's gym, War Training Center, and I've been watching you train. Yeah, so we've been having some fun over there. I want to talk a little bit about being a female in what is considered typically a male-dominated sport. So we'll come back to that. But let's go to our next guest. We have basic photographer, media creative guy, editor Ray Kugler here. What's up, Ray? How are you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
I'm well. Welcome. First time coming on the show. I want to thank Richard Burmaster for giving you the shout out to get you on here. So you've been around as a media guy for a long time. You actually were in Chicago with Mike the Truth Jackson, and you documented his whole fight leading up to the bout with CM Punk. Tell me a little bit about that. What were your thoughts on how the UFC puts their stuff together as a media guy?
So, following the entire camp prior to the fight, we started, I think, 2 months out, started photographing camp once a week. Tried to do it once a week. So I kind of got to see what he was working on and how he was putting his game plan together with Crew Bob, and it was a fun thing to watch. And then I know just at the end of the whole thing, being able to sit in the crowd and watch, kind of photograph the whole week. And I really wanted to photograph the actual event, but you can't do that.
I used to get credentialed through the UFC with Fox Sports when I used to work for them. So I'd literally sit front row. I'd literally sit where Dana sat, only opposite from Dana. So I got really spoiled with those press credential seats.
Yeah.
And then when the UFC sold, when all that the selling of it came, and the deal with Fox, that cleared most credentials out, unless they hired you, or you were with Getty Images or something like that. they got rid of all the photographers, which really sucks.
Yeah.
Because you guys have a great flair. You guys have a great eye, you know. So, yeah, I mean, I definitely hear what you mean. You really wanted to be out there shooting. So, where did they have you sitting?
I was above the exit tunnel, but then for the co-main and main event, it was Rafael Dos Anjos and Robert Whitaker's entrance tunnel, which was tight. I did Snapchat Robert Whitaker walking out.
Did you like try to steal his hat like most people do?
No, man, but it's crazy. People will come up out of nowhere and like come over the railing and start screaming at people and like being very aggressive towards other people sitting in the crowd. It's a little weird. That was my first UFC event to actually have ever been to. Mm-hmm. So I get to shoot like the whole week and then enjoy it, the night of. But sitting in that area is crazy. You're with family members. Curtis Blade's mom, the most hype person in the entire crowd. Like,
she's ready to fight for her baby.
She was screaming nonstop. It definitely gave me the itis to be a little bit more live.
I don't know, man. I gotta admit, like, I love the sport, but I really can't stand being around a lot of MMA or sports fans in general.
Yeah.
Like going to a live sporting event, everybody's smarter than the athlete. Like, let me ask you, Randy, do you ever have people like telling you how to do your job when?
Of course,
again,
all the time.
You're a freaking Olympian.
Yeah, all the time.
It's like everybody knows better than the athlete. That's the part that I can't stand. I say this ad nauseum. The guy screaming like, "Do this, smash his face." I would have did this, man. If that was me, I would have did. Shut the fuck up.
Those guys are live at the bars all the time too.
Yeah,
like
I hate that.
TV.
I hate that. What about you? Tell me a little bit about that. We were talking about you being right now at war training. Before we go into it, how did you get to war?
Oh, I was just looking for a place to train MMA, and the women's wrestling circle is very small, and I had another friend tell me that, hey, Tanya is in Houston. You're living in Houston.
Tanya
I'm like,
Ebinger,
yeah, and I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't know that she was in Houston. Where's she at? And that's pretty much how I ended up at war. I called Tanya. She said, come on out.
So where are you from anyway?
I'm from the Dallas area, but I've lived all over the past 10 years.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And how did you get into wrestling anyway?
How did I get into it? Well, long story short, I got cut from the basketball team. And
It's a height thing, girl. I feel you. I'm Mexican. I'm short.
So I don't know how it works now, but high school back then, if you weren't in a sport, you had to be in PE.
Yeah.
And I was trying to avoid PE. So that's how I ended up.
It's amazing how she's tried to avoid PE and ended up becoming an incredible athlete by avoiding it.
Well, I mean, being part of a sport and having practices in high school is way less grueling than being in PE. Do you guys remember PE class?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It was whack because you wore the same uniform all week, and God forbid you got sweaty. Because I remember in junior high, because that's when you start liking girls. For me, it's like I didn't want to sweat because I didn't want anything to mess up my hair. I certainly wasn't going to go shower. You know what I mean? So I avoided it. And then the same uniform, dirty all week. It's disgusting.
It is.
So I don't remember having to do the same uniform, but I remember elementary school PE and like not being able to do pull-ups at all.
Yeah.
And then they would make us run around the baseball field, but it was also kind of my walk to school, so I was familiar, but I just couldn't do it, so I was always at the end.
No, that killed me. I hated that. Like, run the fist line and all this stuff I didn't want to do. So, and I actually went in there to be a manager. So.
You're going to be the person in everyone.
The stats.
You're like in a group picture. Everyone's in uniform, but there's that one dude like in regular clothes. And so you went in there to avoid doing athletics. Mm-hmm. How does that transition happen?
The coach just said,
cut.
why don't you try it? And I did, and I guess the rest is history. Mm-hmm. It's a real easy thing to get addicted to.
So what grade was this?
This was 12th grade.
12th grade. So you started pretty late by most standards.
I did.
Here in Texas, we've talked about it. We actually had the Bel Air High School wrestling team on here a while back. I graduated in 97. We didn't get wrestling until 98 because, we're a football state. So I missed the whole window when it came to wrestling, which really sucks. So you got into it as a senior. And then from there, where do you go to college? Where do you continue to evolve your career as a wrestler?
Well, I just went to the only school that was recruiting me at the time, which was a small junior college, and I was there for 2 years. I met some people. Actually, my teammate is a girl, Mary Kelly. She was the best wrestler I had ever seen, ever.
And the name sounds so non-threatening, Mary Kelly.
Mary Kelly,
That
yeah,
sounds
I
like
mean,
a nanny.
If you ever see her, too, you would never think she's one of those people. You would never think this girl can kill me, but she definitely can. So she was the best wrestler I had ever seen, male or female, and she said her dad was starting a program in Illinois at a college, so I went there. And then after that, the USOEC program, which is a feeder program to the Olympic Training Center, opened their doors up to women. So I applied to get into there, and I got in, and I was there for 2 years. And then after that, I went on to the Olympic Training Center.
And what was that like? I mean, to be able to, step in that, those are hallowed grounds. I mean, if you think about all the names that have gone through there, I mean, what was that like to realize you were a part of that family?
No, it was amazing. It was a very exciting time in my life. I remember when I received the letter saying I could go to the OTC, and I was just very happy about it.
Yeah. Do you still have that letter? Did you save it?
No, I don't have that.
Girl, that's something you got to frame, man.
No, it's long gone somewhere.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Ray, tell me a little bit about you. Yeah, so you trained back in the past a long time ago, right?
Yeah.
Actually, with Chad Robichaux, formerly of Gracie Baja, the Woodlands. How'd you tell me a little bit about you jumping into the sport?
I didn't jump into the sport for the sport's sake. I jumped into the sport for self-defense sake.
Gotta keep those girls away from you, man. They're just chasing you down. You gotta know how to shake them off.
Yeah, female-like tendencies. That's what I was trying to shake off from a couple of dudes who had it out for me, I guess. I don't know.
Why?
Man, I woke up one day and my car was, destroyed. Flower pots through the windows, the whole 9 yards. Just, trashed my car. It was, right before Christmas, too. That was crazy. But I ran into these guys, at a party one day, and I wanted to confront the one who I had, assumed did it because you can't really pinpoint anything. But when that happened, getting swarmed by multiple people.
Well, hold on. We're missing a component here. Let's rewind it a little bit. There had to have been something to happen in order for them
That's
to do this.
what I was thinking.
What, there's a catalyst that happened. Someone doesn't. What'd you do, man?
I think retaliation can just keep going. I think it just starts one way and then just snowballs.
So you just got singled out, you think, or?
No, for sure. There was definitely back and forth.
So what happened? Come on.
What did you do?
Don't leave it out, man.
Man, there's just some stuff you can't be public about. Look, in my past,
stole a bag of weed.
And no, in my past, I had money issues with some people, and
we can stop you right there.
yeah. See, so it just it just goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But anyways, I went to confront the guys and got surrounded by multiple people. It was 4 people, and I was doing yoga at the time. So the only thing I knew, the only thing I knew was just shut the fuck up, and be quiet and just breathe
and downward
and
dog.
just breathe and just breathe, just stay calm and try to de-escalate.
So
the
ball
situation.
up.
Anyways, the next day, I went to the gym and I was like, if I get surrounded again, I want to at least have some sort of wits about me.
Yeah. I like that because it reminds me of the Karate Kid.
It's true.
When Daniel got swarmed by them in their skeleton costumes, that's literally what it's like. And the next day you go to the gym and you start training.
Yeah.
So, did you ever have a final confrontation with these guys? Or please tell me you whooped someone's ass.
No, man. Everything got settled cordially. Everything was fun.
I feel like we're missing so many details of this story.
You just, being young is crazy, dude. I think ego gets involved way too much when you're young, especially when people are doing drugs and being involved in drug and alcohol. At a young
Ego,
age.
testosterone, and
the
drugs
worst, dude.
will fuck your world.
Yeah, no good, man, no good.
Yeah. Oh man. And so you started training with Chad. How long did you stick with it?
A couple of years.
Yeah.
I stuck with it a couple of years, but it's been on and off. So I think the last time I trained, I was up in Conroe with Jared Chafee at Carlson Gracie.
Yeah.
Up there, and those guys are always super welcoming, and they treat me like family up there. Great crew.
Awesome.
So yeah, it's just been on and off.
And
for
so
years.
so that's how you started doing photography and really photographing the sport. Tell me about your evolution into that.
I was training before I got into photography. I was training, but I was working for Halliburton, and then I got a DWI. And once I got my DWI, I decided that it was time to stop.
I feel like we're peeling back the onion.
Yeah.
We're peeling back those layers.
There's
a story here.
Surely.
It's a deep journey, man. It all starts somewhere, but it's hard to pinpoint where.
Man, I can't believe I've never gotten a DWI. It's funny, my wife complains a lot that we don't go out. Because I don't like drinking in public. I feel like I've used every get-out-of-jail-free card that God has ever given me. I remember one time, I can't believe I'm saying this. I got so drunk. It was like a scene of Cops. I rode home on a flat tire to where the rim was going. And when I think about it, I can remember seeing the sparks. I don't know how I made it home. I had someone one time slip me a roofie. A guy. Yeah, and it was a guy that I know. I know the whole story now.
What was he planning?
That ass. I got
so scary.
No, so I remember like because back in the day we used to dump stuff all the time. Sorry, Mom. And I remember just ingesting something, and I knew what I thought it was something else. Let me put it to you that way. And then I just remember being just like getting really sleepy at a club downtown.
Oh no!
And so they took me to, like, the bouncer's like, you got to get him out of here. They're telling my friends that. So I remember them. This has nothing to do with the show. Why am I doing this? But I remember them taking me downstairs to the valet area while they were looking for our car, my friend's car. So the valet guy said, "Hey, he can sit in this car." They put me in another car. I don't know whose car I'm in, and I just start grabbing CDs and like, "This isn't mine. This isn't mine." And throwing shit. And finally, the owner of that car comes up to me, starts talking shit, but I don't know what's going on. Anyways, they get back to my friend's house where my car was. And while they're arguing over what's going on with me, they took my keys from me, but what they didn't know is I kept a spare key in my wallet. So while they're arguing, I just stumble to my car and drive off. And this was another incident, and I remember I made it all the way home until the last block where I sideswiped a car. And I was living at my parents' house at the time, and my older brother heard it, thank God, at like 3 a.m. It's like a crime. And then he went and ran and picked up all the pieces of my car, parked my car to where you couldn't see the damage, and a great older brother for doing that, even though it was horrible, hiding out, hit and run. But yeah, and so it ultimately found out that this guy that I know slipped me a roofie. Yeah.
How did that situation end up?
Oh man, he doesn't live here anymore.
You made him
Like, did you ask him about
You put him out like that? Damn.
Like, was there...
now I'm feeling a lot like Ray. No, forget about it.
Like, what happened? There's a whole chunk there.
Well, when it came out that's what he did, he said that I asked him for it. Like, I asked for the actual pill. Okay. I would never take something that's going to incapacitate me.
Sure.
Who would do that? You know what I mean? Like, I just wouldn't do that. And then, like, it was like, okay, this is a crime now, And then, I see what I'm afraid of saying is, because I don't want to, point the guy out. And the more detail I give, people are going to know who it is. And I don't know why I would, defend the guy, but I guess it's kind of like, ew. But yeah, let's just say he moved away. He's no longer around.
That's probably for the best.
But what worries me is like how many people he's done that to,
right?
Or more or less.
So don't feel like
who's he doing
still,
it to?
yeah. Like don't feel like you need to protect him.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to say his name or anything like that, but he was the kind of person that would move. Like he would work, save up a bunch of money, then go to Europe for a few months, come back, work a shitty job. Like for a few months, and then go to Spain for a few months. He'd always just like go to these foreign countries because that's what he was really into music, like house music and shit like that. And he would go like to Prague, but he would disappear. So no, I didn't run him off or anything like that. But once it got out that those were his intentions, because I guess if he had done that, he'd done that to someone else that he didn't know. And this may have been the first time he did it to someone in the circle of friends. And when it was revealed, like this was a guy who I think after this came out of the closet, so he was a closeted individual to begin with. So he was already kind of like, maybe, I don't know, insecure. And so when it came out that, he had these intentions, I think that really freaked him out that people now knew his secret. And then he really took off and never came back. And I've even asked people about him, like, hey, have you seen so-and-so? And no, this guy ghosted himself. So...
Well, hopefully he's worked through his issues.
And thank God I'm intact.
Hurt anybody else.
But yeah, that was weird, man. So you're right. I don't know how we got on that segue, ladies and gentlemen, but this is Fight Talk Live. So, I'm going to go ahead and segue back to you, Randy. It's funny, I talked about, this being a male-dominated sport. What's it, like, if you think about, like, the old days of, like, when the whole Team Foxcatcher thing was going on, when, like, Russia, like, paid their athletes, paid their wrestlers. These guys looked good. But American wrestlers, struggled when they weren't competing.
Still struggling.
Exactly. What's it like in comparison for women on the team as opposed to the men's? Is it worse for women? Are there less opportunities or more? How does that work out?
Well, I would say in some ways it is worse, but I feel like all of us are kind of in the struggle together, because we don't get paid. And I feel like there's a bunch of people who are getting paid, and it's just not the athletes. And
Hey, you guys are doing all the work.
Yeah, I take issue with that. But I guess what the men get, at least men's freestyle, not men's Greco. Do I need to explain the difference?
Please do. For anyone who doesn't know the difference between freestyle and Greco.
Okay, so freestyle wrestling is when you can attack upper body and lower body.
Yeah.
And Greco is just all upper body attacks.
Yeah.
Throws, front headlocks, things of that nature. And Greco's not as popular here in the United States, but it is all over the world. And so is women's wrestling. Again, not all that popular here in the United States, but it is around the world. And men's freestyle is semi-popular here, or it's getting popular. So anyway, back to what I was saying, I feel like the way it's worse is that women don't really get coverage the way men's freestyle does. And men's freestyle has like this train and momentum that's coming off of college men's folk style. So all of them get popularity, notoriety, and they have fans, and then that way they can supplement their income with sponsorships and deals because people know who they are, whereas women don't really get that because we don't get coverage. They don't know who we are. They don't know who our medalist is. We just won our first gold medal, women, and her name's Helen Maroulis. And not only did she win it, she beat a girl who doesn't lose, who's never lost.
Oh, really?
Who's won every Worlds and Olympics since it started for women's wrestling.
And that's sad that most people don't even know her name.
Right. I'm like, I should be sick of hearing about her.
Yeah.
But no, they don't cover her. I should see her face everywhere. I should be wearing her shoe. I should be wearing her shirt.
You would imagine, you're right, when it comes to Nike and Adidas or whatever, you'd imagine there would be more sponsorships or endorsement deals in that realm. But there really aren't. They're really...
I know that they're sponsored by Nike.
But who's got their own wrestling shoe, for example?
Right.
Can you name someone?
Kale Sanderson.
The big name, Kale,
Yeah.
right?
Wheaties Box Kale. One of our best wrestlers. Adeline Gray has a shoe. And Jordan Burroughs has a shoe. And those are the ones that I could name.
Yeah.
You have to really be excellent, a medalist or gold medalist, world or Olympic, to get a shoe or notoriety.
I mean, give me some of those bootleg Frosted Flakes. Give me a cover on that at least, or something. So is it true that you guys still have to pay taxes on stuff too?
Yes.
How do you represent a country and then still get taxed? Ray, what do you think of that? I mean, if you were an Olympian...
40%.
You're 40%?
40%.
Wow. Ray, what do you think of that, man?
Man, I'm still late on paying my taxes.
Maybe we shouldn't talk too much about that one.
Max, if you're
Ray's going to go outside with a warrant. He's going to have IRS outside. No, but think about that. I mean, it's funny because you'll hear like soldiers who've been in war and say, I'm the son of a country that doesn't want me. I have a friend that talks about that a lot at nauseum sometimes, and I feel bad because it's like you give your life to something for America, no less, and then afterwards you feel used up, you feel underappreciated, you're not getting any kind of help fiscally that you figured that you thought you might get, and not only that, you're taxing you 40%. I mean, that's just ridiculous. So walk me through what kind of opportunities are out there right now for you. So I'm imagining seminars. What can you share?
I mean, not really. It just
Really?
kind of depends on if they want, if they want me. Like, a lot of people like to get their information from other people, not necessarily a women's wrestler. Like,
Yeah.
if you have a team full of people that you want to teach wrestling and it's primarily boys, a lot of them may feel some type of way learning from a girl. You might get a bigger draw by hiring a male wrestler that doesn't have an Olympic medal but has a bigger name. You might get your money back putting on a camp by hiring that person over me because people don't know who I am.
Yeah.
I might not bring out that draw, whereas a person putting on a camp won't get their return. But they know they will if they pick this guy that everybody knows and wants to learn from and seen wrestling and watched on Flow Wrestling or what have you, because they get coverage.
It's kind of a double-edged sword too, because as a consumer or business owner, you can kind of understand why they're trying to get that ROI, that return on investment. So you get that, but at the same time, they may be offering their students lesser of a quality, maybe. May I ask what you do these days? What you're doing?
Yeah, I have a regular day job. I work at a homeless shelter, and
Oh, that's cool.
My free time, I do coach wrestling and try to train MMA when I can.
So are you making the transition to MMA?
I would really like to, but it's been difficult getting a fight. And I really can't commit to training unless I have a date set, because I can't be taken off of work for something that may not happen. So
Yeah.
it's kind of, was that a catch-22?
Catch
Is that what it's
22.
called? Yeah.
Ray, let me ask you, what are your thoughts on, the lack of opportunities for these athletes? I mean, here's a wealth of knowledge right here. And,
So much.
yeah,
So much.
a lot of knowledge here, and it's kind of being displaced. I mean,
Man, it's crazy because talking about getting exposure or, getting people to like bring you on, it's the same thing with photos. Like, you can't imagine how much like people just
because you guys get
take
raped
for
on that
granted.
stuff.
Yeah, you get taken for granted, man. I mean, with what the amount of time that you've spent, learning something and like perfecting this craft, and then like people turn around and like will post your shit and like
With the watermark
tweak it,
and all, and
tweak it, and like maybe not even put your name on it. I mean, it's like, dude, that's like the bare minimum. Like, this photo was taken by this person. This is who I got this from. Like, it's just kind of important, but it's hard. It's hard. It just comes with knowing. It comes with talking about it. It comes with having the knowledge and like putting it out there. So like, even what you're saying right now to whoever may be hearing this, like, that puts it out there that much more, and that helps push the agenda.
I think, yeah, that if there is going to be a change where women's wrestling is going to get more coverage, it's going to have to come from us, at least first. It's going to be the women getting out there and putting up their own podcasts, if you will, YouTube channels, and just kind of starting up that whole culture itself, because it's not going to come from the outside, I don't think, in my opinion.
speaking of what you were talking about, Ray, like, photographers, I mean, it's funny, like, you guys get treated like a kid coming out of college, and what I mean by that is, we can't pay you, but you'll be able to say that you did it. You were in our magazine. They want to offer, instead of offering money, they want to say, oh, but we're going to blast your name out there for you. All this shit that you could do on your own.
Yeah.
I mean, so when and like we were talking off air, I've been doing radio and media for a long time, and people think when you're on TV you make money. There's no money, dude. There's no money in radio. No money in being on TV. There isn't. Unless you're like an anchor person or you're like a full-time with a station, there's just no money in it. And so it looks cool. I love saying that I'm able to do these shows, but definitely a labor of love, as your wrestling is for you right now and photography is for you, but it's kind of a thankless business at times. So working with Mike, I'm sure you were able to really get your name out there. And
Yeah.
I know that helped dividends. Obviously, Mike was in the UFC. But, tell me about other opportunities where, people want to hire you, but they're like, hey, I'm not going to pay you money, but I'll do this for you instead. Does that happen a lot?
I mean, it's every job, it seems like. It seems like it's almost every job. All the time. It is just like, if there's a constant, that's the constant, and that's the stigma. I mean, it's Instagram culture, right? Like, it's like I want to post 150 pictures and, like, do all this, and you're just like, dude, 150 pictures, if you want me to just show up and be like, here's your photos, here's 150, then like, yeah, but if you want the good stuff,
Good,
like,
edited nicely.
yeah, like, you want somebody that gives a shit, pay the money.
Yeah. Well, see, the culture of the internet has ruined a lot of businesses. The internet killed print media. I was a writer for magazines for a long time. So print media out the window. I mean, when was the last time you bought a newspaper? Like the Chronicle or something like that. I remember my dad, that was his thing. Every Sunday he'd sit on his recliner and have the Chronicle all laid out. And I always wanted the Best Buy section. I loved looking at the shit I couldn't afford. And but that was a whole thing. Print media, people, reading magazines and stuff like that. You'll see people read magazines like on planes and things like that when they have time to kill and they're stuck in a tube. But the internet killed that. That's fine. People read on their iPad or they read on their laptop, whatever. And then look at terrestrial radio, actual like FM, AM radio. Who listens to that anymore? Why would you want to listen to commercials when you could just, have satellite radio, or why? Who wants to listen to commercials? My satellite radio went out the other day, and it was torture because I would put on Houston radio, and it's nothing but commercials. So the internet killed regular radio. I mean, who listens? I don't know, man. When was the last time you listened to like
I don't even have an FM antenna in my car, so I don't even
it
get
doesn't-
radio in my car.
So that's dead. And think about terrestrial radio shows, you know. Why would you want to listen to a show that comes on, like when I did ESPN, it was from 7 to 9, and if you missed it, that was it. It wasn't recorded. Like, this is going to last. I'll be able to blast out this show forever. But with terrestrial radio, unless you recorded it on a tape or something, it was done. So why would you want to do that when you can just go download a podcast and listen to it whenever you're ready and resume it whenever you want to continue it? So the internet has done a lot of great things, but it's also done a lot of bad things, because now you have the Instagram culture that you mentioned. Everyone's suddenly a photographer. I mean, go to a restaurant, people photographing their food, or all the different filters. People think they're all artsy and creative. And while the pictures may look nice, I mean, the reality is they're not photographers.
It's a double-edged sword, though, because, I mean, it does help.
That was my rant, people. I'm sorry.
It does help, but, like, it kind of hurts, too.
Uh-huh. Give me an example.
But I haven't even posted on Instagram in, like, almost a month. Less than a month. But.
I don't really use it. I don't really use Instagram.
Instagram's my favorite one.
They say only old people use Facebook. I mean, I am 38, so.
I go to Twitter for all my MMA.
I deleted Twitter.
I will say that. I don't use it. Like, I just have it to peep what's going on. Like, see what the deal is.
Gotta go take a shit, then you get on Twitter. Something like that. I don't know, man. Like I said, the internet's done a lot of great things, but it's allowed. It's given so much access to people to be out in the world. Like, my daughter loves watching, like, Vines and stuff like that, and I'm like, why do people have to record everything?
Well, I
Like,
mean,
why do you? I mean, I don't understand that whole mindset. What are your
no,
thoughts?
I know. I think that is kind of silly, but that's just kind of the generation. But I kind of like it that, because I can put whatever I want to out there, especially if you're part of the group that's been disenfranchised, the part of the
See,
group
but that's
not.
purpose, right? There's a purpose behind it.
Right.
My daughter showed me a video the other day of this lady saying, my neighbor said she needed water, so I'm going to fill up this vase for her. And she filled up a vase full of water, and that was it. And I'm like, why would you record it? Why would you think that's interesting? You're talking about supporting a disenfranchised group and getting a message out there. I'm all about that. But people who, like, you'll see the people, like, doing yoga, and they get, okay, I guess if you want to record it to watch yourself, to check your technique. But it's like everyone is recording everything. And it's stupid to me at times. Because, again, if you got a purpose behind it, I'm all for it. Do your thing. But I think when it comes to media, we get a lot of, perpetrators. We get a lot of fakers that come in. Again, like the photographers, like the artists and things like that. I don't know.
So I'm not in the field really, but tell me, what do you feel that these perpetrators or amateurs are coming in, kind of taking jobs that you would potentially have?
Not jobs that I would potentially have, but let me come up with a good example. It's just because you drive a car doesn't make you a NASCAR driver.
Right. No, absolutely.
Just because you've stepped on a mat to train doesn't make you an MMA fighter. It's like those people who are out there, like, at the gym, about to get in it right now, gonna do some, and that's cool, man. Like, I appreciate that you're doing it, but it's almost like you're selling a personality and not yourself. You're putting it on just for the sake of followers, because that's the whole thing. People live and die in social media by followers. How many people are looking at their account, putting 50 fucking hashtags on a 2-sentence post? I find that annoying. I don't know why. Maybe I am old. Maybe I am, just out of touch. But it's like people will put like 2 sentences on something, and it's just like hashtag, 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 and it's like, how desperate are you for attention? Again, I feel maybe I'm being a dick right now. I don't know. I can't connect to that.
I think you're spot on, but I think the way to actually do that is to do your 2-sentence post, and then in the comment section, you just got to be the first one. Then you throw those 50 hashtags, because then they won't show up in your feed.
See, that's how the guy does it, undercover style. I like that.
But it's about hitting markets. I mean, you're trying to appeal to somebody, right? I mean, that's the whole point of social media, is you're trying to find an audience. You're trying to appeal to somebody, to some group or some, So you have to put in at least some effort. You can't just be totally nonchalant. I don't give a fuck about it. There's got to be, it's give and take, double-edged sword,
So how has social media helped you? I mean, I'm sure with the message that you have that, it really helps in creating awareness, right?
No, because I'm not that good at it.
Okay.
I'm always forget to bring my phone to film myself training and having my message, and I just not that person. I grew up in a generation when we didn't do that.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah. Same
so-
with me. Yeah. Maybe that's why I don't like it. You know.
I'm trying to learn to be more like
See,
that.
but you, I mean, you're the fact that you are an Olympian. I would much rather watch your video than like some high school kid with a whack single leg trying to do it, do a how-to video. You know what I mean? I mean, I applaud him for having the, I guess the wherewithal to want to do it. But I think that just because you can do it, leave it to the experts. Is my point.
Well, I just feel like too, a lot of the girls that I felt like, or I won't say the girls, athletes, most of them that I didn't think were that great were getting a lot of popularity because they were constantly hitting that refresh button, putting up those pictures. But again, I just feel like, I mean, more power to them. Like, it's annoying that they have a huge following and people think that this is the legit person, or when there's like a whole slew of people who are way better that they don't know because they just don't do that. But again, I just feel like that's my fault. Like, I could put myself out there, I just haven't. You know? So
it was like you were saying, like with the seminars. You know, you can get the real good quality solid training, or you can get the guy with a bigger name. And I guess, you know, hey, I will applaud people who are out there doing it, because I mean, it is kind of a job. I mean, social media, to really keep your name out there, is kind of a job. I mean, had I done more of it, I'm sure, you know, I'd have more of a following. But I also, maybe this is bad for me to say, as a personality on there, that I really don't care, you know, because I mean, I enjoy coming doing the show, having conversations with people just like you guys, people who will, you know, have knowledge in your own respective fields, and also bring an audience, you know, because I know I'm going to be doing it next week again. You know, I'm very lucky in that sense, and I don't know, man, this whole YouTube culture is just weird to me, and my daughter's growing up in it. That's what's weird, you know, because my daughter wants to record everything. She wants to do those Musical.ly videos, and now I have to monitor who follows her. That's it, dude. I got creeped out one time. So she was probably 4 years old, and we were at my parents' house, and she wanted to watch YouTube videos, like Disney videos. And so I Googled or YouTube something, I found it, and I was looking at the comments, and all of a sudden in capital letters I saw XXX. Someone posted a porn link in the comment section of a child's Disney video. Like, that is
so weird,
dude. That's horrible. Think about that. Someone was put a porn link in a comment section of a child's YouTube video.
Never go into the comments.
Dude, that's a rabbit hole in and of itself, dude.
Stay out of the comments. The comments are where all the negativity comes from, dude.
Well, dude, like, it was that at that moment that I realized, wow, like, dude, being a dad is the greatest thing in the world, but it's the scariest thing in the world, you know, because you feel so, because you are responsible, you know. And I mean, you see me at the gym with her. I take her everywhere I go. She's here right now. Dude, my daughter's with me everywhere. I love the relationship we have, but knowing that I have to monitor everything and say, okay, who's following you? Who are you following? Let me see, because I don't want some fucking To Catch a Predator shit going down. You know,
it's a very real thing.
It is.
You know?
It totally is. I mean, that's some scary, scary stuff, man.
Remember back in the day, though, like, so I grew up AOL's fifth grade for me, 10 years old. And so I remember logging on for the first time and, like, getting the first screen name, doing all that. But, like, going...
Mom, hang up the phone. I'm getting online.
Oh, gosh,
like,
chat rooms.
Just trying to...
Want a cyber?
People,
ASL? It was with age, sex, location.
Right, just trash.
I know, and it would always be like, you want a cyber? Want a cyber?
Yo, I went to meet up with some girl one time at the mall. Yeah, at Deerbrook Mall. I went and we were supposed to meet up at the Hot Topic, and I walked in and I saw her, and I was like, "What the fuck am I doing?" And I turned around, I like legit hid behind the shelf, like snuck out the side door, and went back, like,
So
"Hey,
she was-
Mom, let's go."
She didn't
my
look like what she
gosh.
thought, or what was it?
That was just, you can't be doing shit like that, dude.
Yeah. But you know what's crazy,
Shady,
though?
it's shady.
Dude, but what's crazy, though, is like...
But
all
you
right,
don't think about how dangerous it potentially
it
could
really...
be.
Okay, I'm going to admit something. I met my wife on MySpace.
Oh, here we go.
You were the creeper
No,
sliding
dude,
in the
no.
DMs.
What did your
She
bio
should have
say?
ignored you.
It's funny because, you know, I'm going to skip that detail. Skip it. But, I met my wife on MySpace. And, you know...
Tom.
I know, right? Tom, dude, we got a baby. That little girl out there is my boy Tom. And that's crazy to think if there was no MySpace, like, I wouldn't have that beautiful creature out there.
No.
But, yeah, it's weird that, you know, as crazy as the internet is, that's how I met my wife. And it does, you know, have those kind of benefits. But, man, the internet is just fucking creepy. Then you talk about, like, the dark web and all that stuff. Like,
Ugh, don't even. I don't even like saying that out loud.
dude.
Yo, have you ever seen it?
No.
Have you ever seen it?
No.
No.
I've seen it one time.
No, I don't even want.
I've seen it one. No, and nothing that I was looking at was like perverse or anything like to
You
that
just took it for
nature.
the drugs
But
and-
I'm saying like, yeah, I knew somebody that was on it.
I
and
know
they
a guy
were-
that buys his drugs off of the dark
Yeah.
web.
Gosh.
Yeah. So I mean, that's
I like
a
to
little bit
pretend
of
it
what I've
doesn't
seen. It's
exist.
just kind of crazy that you see it and you're like, okay, this is
Real, yeah.
very real. Like you can go on here and you can find like whatever it is
Oh, my
that you're
goodness.
looking for.
I'm gonna go on pretending it's not real.
My,
It's
yeah,
an
my
urban
bu-
legend.
My buddy of mine buys his cocaine. God damn, can you keep dropping the bottle? He buys cocaine and acid off of it, and he buys in bulk. So so he'll put in one big order. So because he's always afraid you don't want to keep like doing it. So allegedly, from what I'm told, you use a Tor router. That stands for the Onion router. And what it does is constantly, I guess, changing IP addresses because it's like a peeling back an onion. It just keeps changing and changing. So that's what he uses. I swear to God, this isn't me. This isn't me. I don't know anything about that shit. But that's what he does. So like he uses it for that. But he has also told me that it's just creepy. Like you can, I find there's like Hitman and shit on there that you can find. Obviously the child porn stuff is all out there. Like I mean, it just sounds like the dirtiest, nastiest, scariest place in the world.
When's that story gonna come out?
Oh man.
High-level MMA athlete found out to be a hitman on dark web.
I know, man. Story at 11. I don't know, man. That's some just
Hopefully never.
creepy stuff. Hey guys, we're gonna take a quick break, and we're gonna watch a quick compilation of since we obviously have Randy here, some wrestling in MMA. So we're gonna come right back. We got that compilation ready to go, guys. Give us 1 second. We'll be right back. Watch some fights with us.
Are the best throws in the world. All the other throws humped on by little girls. Your singing sucks, but you're a fantastic fighter.
Seconds of our opening round of this Bellator special feature fight in the welterweight division. There's some more class to go.
Rick Hahn in the opening round went for the clinch and the takedown here. Came back from that knee. Look at the exchanges here.
And out goes Baroni. Very calm. Oh, and just a big right. Valencia catches him with a big right, and McCall goes down, and now he goes to work. A huge judo throw, and Ian McCall is in all kinds of trouble.
Smith comes back with a tie plum knee strike, but another strike in. What goes up? No chance of blasting in and getting. Look at this. No chance of blasting away.
Culture. I mean, we. Right on his head. Nice knee to the body by Bosch. Nice shit. Beautiful. Beautiful recovery from that kick.
Top right hand.
Beautiful throw.
Nice slam. Sap in the white trunks, and Nogueira shoots for the takedown.
Escudero.
That was a good kick by Escudero, but Oliveira's got all of him and down. Clear specialist in the sport.
How quick and explosive was that? How much has Akiyama really scored in this fight thus far?
That's a very good point. But there he scores big.
There you go.
Maybe he was listening.
Tried with the knee, got thrown down.
Nate might dive under for a leg, though, Mike. Nobody's looking for that leg.
Pushing the pace. striker. There's the knees.
Oh, the big judo throw.
Where he could have left himself open for a submission.
Oh, and again.
Wow. Here's a warrior. Look at that. Oh.
Samurai comes back. Coming up on 30 seconds to go here in round number 1, and a nice toss.
He's got hands of stone. I like thinking of him as like the Roberto Duran of MMA. Oh. Now they're standing again, and another big head throw. A big slam. Maybe slowing down his footwork a little bit. Chiodo takes his hand down.
Well, Mousasi has had his moments. It looks like he's slowing down. I think those body shots have taken their toll. And look at that heading arm throw from Swanson.
The way he holds his hands down there, though, man. Oh, beautiful uppercut. Yeah. And now Seaver gets tossed. I think Swanson lost his mouthpiece. Trying to stump the takedown. Oh, beautiful. Now Talus heard that bell. He knows it's only 10 seconds. Oh, pile drivers.
Corso Tay made his UFC debut against Tito Ortiz years ago.
That's some power. He's got the back. He's got
Cote's in
his
trouble.
Can't Belcher fight out of it. He's out of it. It's all over.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. If you're just tuning in, this is Fight Talk Live. We have Olympic bronze medalist Randy Miller. I keep forgetting the year. What year?
2008.
2008.
Yeah.
2008. She's in this house with us. We got Ray Kugler here as well. What's up, buddy?
Not a whole much.
What a weird rabbit hole we went down with that segment. That was weird. Talked about me almost getting raped. Why am I laughing about that? Talking about the dark web. But let's take it back to fights. We were just watching a cool fight compilation, so we're going to watch some more right now. Randy, I'd love to hear your thoughts. This is actually, I've handpicked this for you since there's a lot of Greco and freestyle use in these fights. So talk to me about what you're seeing. Talk to me why these guys are getting taken down, and more importantly, why these guys that are hitting these takedowns are able to get them.
Okay.
All right, let's see. That was a judo throw right there.
Uchimata.
All right. Carl Parisian, old school, man. That guy was good with his.
Ooh.
What's your go-to move? Like, are you a single leg, double leg? What?
Front headlock.
Front.
Yeah.
Get that snap down and
yeah. And they're getting these because just not knowing what to do in these positions, and that's why they're looking so.
That was beautiful, right
fantastic.
into the mount.
I mean, in a wrestling match, it doesn't ever look that beautiful because there's some kind of defense. Not that you can't get the throw off, but
Well, you guys are the masters of it too, so I
but
mean,
when you don't know how to defend, that's when you get reactions like that.
yeah.
Just amazing. And just, I mean, even if you train what to do in these positions, I really feel like you don't truly understand it until years and years and years
Yeah.
of wrestling.
What was the worst takedown you've ever suffered? Like, how was there ever, like, like the Fedor Randleman throw? Did you ever get hit with anything like that before?
Sure, I got souped.
Show me on Ray real quick what that means.
Do you guys really want to see it? Y'all want to see it?
Sure.
Okay, so a soup. I'm not gonna soup you, but so a soup is like when somebody could stand up.
Keep that. Stay by the mic if you can.
Okay, when somebody gets behind you and they lock up.
So like
and
a body lock.
They step through and then toss you behind.
Yeah.
And does a back arch and toss you behind.
Those frequent flyer miles.
And folk style wrestling, when you're in a bottom position, the goal is to try to come up and get neutral.
Yeah.
And freestyle wrestling, you're supposed to stay flat and not get turned.
Yeah.
Well, I was transitioning to freestyle, so I stood up and I got launched
Yeah.
right
Look at that.
on my head.
The tombstone pile driver right there. Bob Sapp, the king of the throne fights and steroids. Here it
I
is.
love Randleman.
Here we go, right there. Boom.
Woo!
Boom.
So nice.
That was beautiful.
Breaking your neck.
Just
Immediately.
That's a pretty organic though. That's how it would look in a match.
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, just not knowing what to do in these positions. I mean, there's no, I feel like, upper hand than knowing what to do when someone grabs a hold of you. I mean, I think most people can learn how to take a punch
Yeah.
and a kick, but if you don't have body awareness
Yeah.
of
Or
your
even
own
knowing how to
body-
fall.
Right.
You know, not knowing how to fall, like break fall. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, like the scariest thing in a fight to me, and the best thing in a fight to me are underhooks. Mm-hmm. It scares the shit out of me when I feel someone get underhooks.
Mm-hmm.
But goddamn it, if I get my underhooks first, I feel confident.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when people lock up and they close that distance on you, and like you're talking about like a front headlock, getting that snap down. You know, so yeah, I totally see what you mean there.
Yeah, I was a physical, hand fighting, push the pace type wrestler.
Damn, look at that
Back
throw.
to back. Just one
and just
after
not
the other.
knowing, not having that body awareness. There's no way. I don't care how tired I am. You're not. You're just
Yeah.
not.
You know, real quick, here, we can go ahead and come back to this. You know, you said something amazing at the gym the other day. So we were on the mat, and we were working on toe holds. And we were talking, Jeremy was talking about really just being on someone. I was like, yeah, bullying them. Mm-hmm. And then when I said bully, you kind of talked about the psychology, like when you'd see girls and their coaches, and if their coaches were bullying
Oh,
them.
yeah.
Tell us a little bit about what you were saying.
Oh yeah. Sometimes you have the tendency to watch your opponents. Sometimes I did. Sometimes I didn't. But if I noticed that if a girl was getting kind of pushed around by her coach or
Like a Bobby Knight, choke his own players.
yeah, kind of that weird relationship where the coach is kind of dragging her around or talking down to her, I knew I could beat that girl. I'm like, if you let him bully you, you're gonna let me bully you. I'm way meaner.
Think about that. Like, let's take a moment to acknowledge that, like how true that is. Because there's a lot of people out there that they never want to disappoint their coach. I mean, that's what kind of the word. Disappointing your parents, disappointing your coach. You don't want to do those things. But you really touched on something there, like the psychology of a person who lets their coach push them around. You'll see coaches, especially on the upper echelon levels, I think, there's a lot of mutual respect there. There really is. It's a team thing. It's not necessarily like a parent-child relationship, which that sounds like it is to me when you talk about a coach who pushes their student around. Now, I know that there are times in competition where a coach will have to bring out that, just like wrangle your will and get you ready. But yeah, to see someone getting pushed around like that, and then you do it to them. Can you give me an example of how that's worked out for you, or you doing that, or?
Oh, well, I mean, my style, it didn't matter who you are. I was going to try and beat you up.
Bitch,
Most of the time, the first 30 seconds to a minute, I wasn't trying to score any points. I was just beating your ass.
Yeah.
Just pushing, pulling, pushing the pace, making you tired, making you hate wrestling me. At the end of the match, I didn't care if I won or lost. I just wanted you not to wrestle me anymore. I wanted that next tournament for you to see my name on that bracket and be like, oh,
shit.
let me go warm up.
That girl
This
again?
girl's crazy. This girl's going to try and kill me. And that was my ultimate goal. So I was going to do that anyway.
Yeah.
But if I saw that that's just how you live your life, is getting pushed around, I was like, okay, easy work. Easy work today.
It's like an abusive relationship, you know what I mean? I know. So, I mean, it's weird. So has someone ever flipped the script on you, and like intimidated you?
Absolutely. Like, how do you think I learned this style?
Right. So who was the first person to really scare the shit out of you?
Scared? No. But definitely pushed me around, and I definitely wasn't going to win that match. It's happened a few times. And you just make adjustments and you get better. Takara Montgomery was one of them, which she doesn't have like a bully style, but she has a way of making you feel like you can't do anything, like when she puts her hands on you. She was just so strong.
Really?
And her timing and technique, like she gets a lot of credit for being strong, but I think what people miss was her timing and her technique. When she hit her double leg, it was perfect.
Yeah.
There was no sprawl. There was no nothing but to
You just had to take
hopefully go to my belly and not get pinned. So she was one of them. Iris Smith was a world champion. 2015 is another one where, again, not my style of wrestling. She definitely picks and chooses her attacks, but has a way of just shutting you down. I think what I'm talking about, this bully style of wrestling, at least in women's wrestling, it was uniquely mine.
Yeah.
There's no one that wrestles like that, even now.
Damn, I should have pulled one of your videos out. I would love to see like a compilation. I found one, but I guess it was an older one, so it was kind of low res.
Okay.
And it didn't really come
Yeah.
through, so that's why
I have a new one. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, I gotta play that. I gotta play that sometime.
You got to put that on IG.
Yeah.
Instagram.
Instagram, hashtag, 50 of them.
Yeah, no, 51. She's going to change it up. It's going to be the 51 hashtags. But guys, we're going to be wrapping it up soon. But before we do that, Ray, anything you want to plug? Anything you want to mention about what you got going on?
Man, right now I'm just trying to get my website right and trying to put my best foot forward with the images that I've taken. And, shout out to my guys, Blueprint Film Co., always holding me down with the videos. And
Ray
we
and
do
Dan.
that. And shout out to Mike and Rich and Crew Bob. And the whole Chicago trip was crazy. Like, I mean, that's pretty much why I'm here, right? Like, it was because of that trip, and that trip was because of them. So I'm just appreciative of the opportunities that I get.
And I want to admit, and actually the person who slipped me the roofie admitted on Facebook who they were.
Oh,
And
no.
it was Richard Burmaster. Richard Burmaster admitted that it was he who slipped me that roofie. So
For real?
no.
That's a friend. I'm like, wait, what?
No, he said he did it. It wasn't him.
Okay, gotcha.
yeah.
It's a joke. I get it now.
She's like, what?
Rich is crazy, dude. We went out in Chicago, and like that was the most wild thing I've ever done. Like, to be a part of that and like be in this crowd of people. I told Kamaru Usman, like, hey, we're walking down the stairs
Oh my
at the end of the
God.
night. I'm like,
You were with him?
I'm like, hey, dude, like, hey, don't be fighting in the crowd. Like, we need you to go to the top. I was drunk as fuck, and the entire trip, I was not trying to misstep or like or overdo my boundaries. Like, I stayed out of everybody's way. I wasn't taking photos of fighters, like, trying to do no weird, funky shit. Like, I'm just here, right? Like, just staying fly on the wall. And we're leaving the club, and I'm like, dog, you can't be fighting in the crowd. Like, we need you to go to the top. Like, you're the man. Like,
He's all getting teary-eyed.
And we leave, and I'm like, Rich, what the fuck was I just do? Why did I tell him that? Like, he should have probably beat my ass, like, right then.
This
and there.
guy, he thinks he's all part of the inner circle now.
No, man, it's just like you hear about something like that, and I just felt compelled to be like, dude,
To give some advice.
for what reason?
Bro, we need you, bro.
Maybe just
need you, man.
Maybe it's just the fighting in public thing. I have a weird history with it, but like, I mean, I know the guy can hold his own. It's just like, man, you don't want to see people that you like.
Wait, that's what he was doing? He fought in public?
Look, I don't. It's neither here nor there.
I
I'm
mean, if
just
it's
saying.
out, if people already know, I'm just asking.
I don't know.
Oh, my
I feel like
goodness.
I got
Oh, my
Barbara-
goodness.
I feel like I got a whole Barbara Walters special with Ray over here. We got to get out in the open.
Scandalous, not my favorite show on network TV, but
Scandal?
is that what it's called?
Yeah, it's my.
He called it his favorite show, but called it Scandalous. Why is it your favorite show and you don't know the name of it?
It's not my favorite show. That's what I was getting at.
It's my favorite show.
Is it?
It was. It's off,
Scandal?
off the air now. Yeah.
Well, she does Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Shonda Rhimes.
She is a beast,
Yeah.
man. You want to talk about like
Did you meet that woman?
no, putting it
Hero.
down. She's got like 15
Hero.
shows on network TV. Like she just kills it. She's like, me.
She's
I
like
run
the
that entire
Steve
network.
Harvey of like TV shows.
It's impressive.
Steve
a
Harvey
boss.
is the hardest working man. That fool's everywhere.
Yo, Mike Jackson
everywhere.
is
Give
a
me a job.
hard-working man. You want to talk about like the hashtags and like the social media game and like getting your message out there? I saw that dude on his phone and like doing interviews in Chicago and training and just like on top of everything. Social
I
media,
aspire.
respond to message, out there he's talking to people. Like, when do you slow down? Like, what?
You know,
I don't understand.
I can't believe that fucking they cut him. I know it was like a one and done fight with CM Punk, but for Dana to be like, he's 0-2 as far as I'm concerned.
I think he's trolling.
And all the shit that he said about Mike, I don't know if you know about this.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Jackson, who fought CM Punk, like Dana, he beat him. You know, he beat him
This last time, right? Not the first time?
Yeah.
Okay.
He beat him without. There was no doubt in mind who won that fight.
What do you think about, okay, I don't want to go too far off base, but what do you think about that spectacle that there's this guy who decides he wants to train
I see it
and
two
fight
ways.
MMA and gets all this money that fighters ain't even getting?
I don't buy. The only reason they did it because he brings that huge WWE crowd.
Right.
You know, you got to remember they spent $4 billion buying the UFC from Zuffa, the current owners. $4 billion. They got to get their money back. There are no real stars anymore. Conor isn't fighting. Ronda's gone. Anderson's out. Who are the real? DJ Mighty Mouse, the guy with the most title defenses in the world. His pay-per-views have the lowest buys. There are no real stars anymore. So how do they get that ROI? Well, the guy may suck, but they know they're going to sell a shitload of pay-per-views with him. I don't agree with it, but from a business standpoint, I see why.
You
And I'm
understand.
glad that they're not having him back because it's bad. It's disrespectful to the current roster. It's disrespectful for the people who've dedicated their lives to it. How arrogant would it be for me to say, you know,
Exactly.
I'm going to the NBA. Yeah, I'll do it. I'm going to go to the NBA.
Yeah, but forget about CM Punk. Let's talk about Mike. Like, The dude went out there, fought, beat the guy handedly.
Beat the shit out of him.
Handedly.
His face
Handedly.
was just like hamburger.
And like people are mad, but you're not gonna give him another fight. But then like, come on, you want to see Mike fight? And like to me, I'm just in my head, I just go, why wouldn't they just want to have him fight somebody that
A fighter?
Now Mike is a bad guy, and the public is high, and that was what was crazy for me because I
For
was
beating
there.
up CM Punk?
Yeah, because they're
'Cause they're saying
mad
he
that he
didn't
didn't
finish
finish him. Like, that's insane. He went out there and beat him handedly. And you know what was funny was that, like, when we got back to the hotel, what does he go by? Bam Bam? Shuey?
I'm not sure.
The dude that beat Alistair, right? Mm-hmm. Okay.
I don't know his name.
We
Was it Chewy?
got back.
Was it Chewy?
We got back to the hotel. That was right after we heard Dana say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We get back to the hotel. He's like, Mike, I saw you playing with him. Why were you doing that? And Mike explained it perfectly. He was like, I couldn't get it done in the first like I wanted to, and I didn't want to be a meme forever. Like I wasn't gonna be the guy that got clipped by this dude. But if the fighters are mad about it, like Mike should get another fight regardless. Like he went out there and did work.
Yeah, no, he should. I just,
What a thankless job. He did all that just to and won and still got shit on.
Just to get shit on, like, wow.
I mean, and it's one thing for fans to have their opinion over it, but your boss or the people who employ you should maybe have your back on this one.
It felt like it hurt me though too. Yeah.
Like,
But like, and that shitty photographer he had with no,
No, it's just like because he brought me along, so I'm like super grateful and I'm happy to be there, and I'm like, fuck yeah, Mike's doing this shit. Hell yeah, I get to be here. I get to be a part of this. And then like the end of it, he's like, fuck that Mike Jackson guy. It's like, damn dude, like I was there. I saw him putting in the work. Like I saw him execute to the T like what he was supposed
His
to do.
plan.
Like I
Yeah.
saw like all
Still
that
not
shit go
good
down.
enough.
Like Bob had the game plan down and Mike executed, and like he didn't get the finish. So whatever. Give him a fight. If you think he can't get the finish, give him somebody that you think can finish it.
or put him on the contender series.
Put him on give him Artem.
Yeah.
What's up? That's the fight
Oh,
that
and
Mike
then-
wants,
and then
right?
Dana
Like,
said that would be the first death in MMA. Did you hear that?
yeah, but the first death in MMA happened in
It's
Houston,
already
right?
happened. Yeah, that was my teammate.
Yeah.
oh, well,
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, Randy, anything you want to plug or mention before we get out of here?
I'm looking for fights, so
Richard
wanna put me-
Burmaster, why are you slipping other people roofies out there? Get this girl a fight.
Get Randy a fight.
Yeah, if you want to put me on your show, I'll be willing to punch
So let's
somebody
put it
on
out there. So there's
We need to get you some
that's out
photos.
there.
We need to get you some photos.
LFA, come on, let's get this girl a fight. She's out there. Think about. You want to talk about people bringing audiences. To say that you have an Olympian on your card, come on, who wouldn't want that?
I've been trying for a while too, guys, but
The
I'll keep
promoters
trying.
are slipping.
I'll keep trying.
Slipping. Guys, this has been Fight Talk Live. I want to thank you guys for joining us. Weird rabbit hole, like I said, we went down. But like I said, we do this every Thursday at 4 p.m. roughly. And if you know someone who you think would be great for the show or you want to recommend, hit me up on Facebook or Instagram at AdamVMMA. We will see you next time. Thank you. My chair's-